on, brother?
Trying to make it happen. Is this me or is this Steve today?
Steve?
Glad you can make it, Hollywood.
Excuse me, is it 401?
Waiting on you.
Oh, one.
I just texted you.
Were you just texting me?
Y'all ready? Are we ready, Kim? Call this meeting to order. We will postpone the CUP that was scheduled for today to the August council meeting. And Bruce will move into employee recognition.
That's all for now. Thank you, Mayor and Council. First, I want to recognize Debbie. Debbie's been here with the town now for 10 years. I know my time here, she's been super helpful. She was great to work with during budget, and anytime I've needed anything, and I think you guys need anything, she's been right there with it quickly and happy to provide it. So it's been great working with her, and hopefully she's going to do at least 10 more, right?
Thank you, Debbie.
I should have my mask on. Next, I'd like to recognize Ed Parvin. Y'all are very familiar with Ed. Ed's been here 15 years now. I think he started as a management fellow and then worked in planning, then been assistant manager and filling in as interim manager over and over. Hopefully he doesn't have to do that anytime soon again. But Ed's been super helpful to me too. He's helped me ease into this role and helped me focus on budget and other things when I got here and helped deal with the pandemic. And he's been a great asset to all of us here, and it's been a joy to work with him. And I'm also grateful to him that he wasn't interested in this position because I probably wouldn't be here if he was. So thanks to Ed and for his 15 years of service.
Awesome job.
Thanks, Ed. We appreciate all the time that you've given the town of Carolina Beach, that's for sure, and especially in the toughest of times we've had. So thank you. Thank you.
And finally, this one's probably a little bittersweet. Chief Chris Spivey has done 20 years with the town. And since I've been here, I've never seen a chief so committed and dedicated to the town, to the staff, to the council, to the citizens. Police chiefs are always on call, but Chief Spivey's taken it to a whole nother level. Anytime I've ever needed him, no matter what time, no matter what he's got going on, whether he's on vacation or dealing with personal issues, he responds within minutes. So he's super dedicated, and I think we all know that. And he's gone through the ranks here for 20 years now, and he's done a great job as chief. And I'm going to let Chief Spivey come up, and then I think he may have a few words to say.
Council, Mayor Pro Tem, and rest council members and staff, it has been a journey and a roller coaster, and a lot of you have been on that journey, past council members as well, and certainly I couldn't have done it without your support and our staff support. 20 years is a long time, and like I say, it's been a real journey. At this time, it's perfect for me. It's perfect to spend a little more time with my family. And after conversation with them, decided that December 1st, 2020 will be my retirement date. So with that said, I want to thank everybody, especially our staff, our management, our council that's helped us throughout the years, and all our department heads. And I couldn't have done it without the dedicated, selfless acts without our sworn men and women of all of our emergency responders, including police and fire. It's just been a real honor and a sincere pleasure, and it's very gratifying and rewarding. So I'd like to thank you, and I've got a lot to squeeze into the next few months to get ready for the department head who's going to take us to bigger and better things. I look forward to it. Thank you all.
Thank
Well,
you, Chief.
Chief, thank you. We can't say enough of what you've done for us over the last 20 years, and I've worked with you for quite a few of those years, and you're just awesome to work with, and I hope that you moving forward in your retirement is a happy time for you. and you can enjoy that. But thank you for your dedication,
Thank y'all, I appreciate it.
council.
Thank you, Chief.
I would have said something, Chris, but you walked off. So. I was just going to say the wheel is turning. You can't slow down. So
But, you know, the wheel is turning, you can't slow down.
can't go back.
Can't hold on.
Can't stand still.
Well put.
See ya.
Is that all we have, Bruce? And just if I might say, we've got some great employees here, and you can see that just from what has happened here today. You know, this time that you guys have put it in, the citizens of Carolina Beach, I know are as thankful as this council and councils past are. So again, thank you for being such great employees and dedicated to the town of Carolina Beach. Thank you. So Brian, you're up. Stormwater. Or, I'm sorry, did I skip something? I don't have my glasses on. Okay, approval of the financing terms for the purchase of a knuckle boom and can machine. Debbie?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. These two items were approved in the budget, the replacement of the can machine and the knuckle boom. So I sent out for proposals to 5 local banks, and BB&T was the only one that gave us a proposal for that, which was a pretty decent rate, 1.56 for a 5-year term for $340,000. So if you are in agreement with that, if you could approve the resolution that Mayor has, then we can go ahead and get these ordered.
And I assume that's all accounted for in our budget?
Yes, that was in our budget. It was approved in the budget in the debt service.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 20-2230 in the amount of $340,000 for the purchase of a can machine and knuckle boom truck. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Aye.
Okay, Brian, now you're up.
Thank you. That was very important to me. Both those pieces of equipment were ours. So looking forward to it. Thank you. At the one of the last meetings, I think Joe Dan had asked for an update on some of the stormwater issues because we had a tremendous amount of rain about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and an influx of complaints and whatnot. And I kind of wanted to just touch base with you guys and let you know where we stand and things and kind of how we operate, especially for the new folks, just because. So in your stormwater staff, you have about 6 full-time staff members, 1 permit review technician, and 1 director being me. The kind of the things that department is tasked with from those 6 people are, and I'm just going to ramble these off. You guys don't need to get too deep. If you have questions, just let me know. Quarterly maintenance of the outfall valves on Canal Drive. Inspection of all the stormwater infrastructure, that be pipe, ditches, catch basins, culverts, things like that. Quarterly cleaning of 7 sedimentation vaults and trash racks throughout town. Those are our big vaults that we have feeding into the lake and the marina and things like that, where they capture the sand and whatnot, and we pump those out, clean those out. Vector cleaning, we purchased a new Vector this year, and since that time we've cleaned about 9,348 linear feet of stormwater pipe, 272 catch basins associated with that pipe, and removed approximately 1,380 cubic yards of debris from those lines. So that's doing its thing. We're also responsible for the maintenance or operation of 5 primary pump stations at the lake, Greenville, and Texas, and 3 auxiliary stormwater pumps in those locations as well. During heavy events, hurricanes, things like that, that ramps up to about more than 10 auxiliary pumps located at Driftwood and other locations. So it's a lot to maintain. We also handle the street sweeper in that department, the daily maintenance of that and operation, as well as the lake and pond oversight. To start off with, what we'd like to do is I know when it rains, when things go south and you guys get bombarded. Everybody coming to you guys either through text or Facebook or phone calls, and I appreciate that. And you guys normally come in through us, and we continue that press towards to steer those folks towards the website, towards the portal, to be able to get a service request in for trackability and accountability on those. we can handle the phone calls, but at the end of the day, if it's flooding or something, it may be quicker for a phone call, but other issues, it may be better not, and just go through the service request method. But the way we normally handle this, and we have for the last few years, is flooding concerns come in through, and either I'll address them or our staff will in some form. If it's something that we can do that would be the town responsibility at that time, within our realm of responsibility, we try to do that. We create a list pretty much during each event of the issues that come up during that event, and we try to knock away at those. If we can swing financially a solution for those in the current budget, we will try to do so. If not, the process is that we try to go through and put that into the budget and propose that to you guys for the upcoming year. And that's kind of how we've done things the last couple of years. And so by going through that process, some of the things that we've accomplished in the previous year, we had work on the 600 block of Charlotte. We did purchase the new stormwater vector, and the 3rd and Spartanburg drainage improvements, we accomplished that. We extended the lake pump intake lines to account for the dredging. 600 block of Columbia received drainage work. Tennessee Bowfin as well. And South 3rd Street, the lake going into the lake from 3rd, we armored that ditch most recently with all the erosion. Texas and Snapper was modified, and bypass lines put in, and improvement of the facility there. As well as Clarendon and 8th, we did drainage there, extended some lines to make some folks happier. And the canal going into the lake, which is the most recent improvement we did, which just finished up the armoring of that because it eroded away during those rainfalls. See, some of the things that we have planned, we scaled back our budget for the upcoming year due to everything. But we did have a significant number of rollovers, which you guys have approved. From that budget, it was just too much to get accomplished in one year. It's a little bit overeager. But we do plan on completing the Ocean Heights stormwater, Hanneker's ditch maintenance, drainage work in the 1200 block of Mackerel, the 1300 block of Snapper, the 1300 block of Pinfish, South 6th in Atlanta, the 700 block of Columbia, Carolina Beach Avenue North, which will impact drainage, and installation of a bypass connection at the Greenville lift station. And I want to mention on here some of the known deficiencies what we do have of the Phase C, and I think that's where you were coming from, Jodan.
Yep.
We had some complaints coming in from some of these certain areas, and Phase D is one of those areas. That's everything from Dow Road east towards 7th Street, and all the way from Harper to pretty much the end of town. And that's there's off and on drainage in those areas, but the solutions to them are not all that easy. They're going to be quite costly. We know that because we've had it engineered up. And it'd be, at the time we do Phase D, it'd be the best time to do that. And then, of course, Canal Drive is one of our weaknesses. So, beyond that, that was really fast, but I didn't want to take up a lot of your time. I just want to open it up for questions.
Just had a quick one on, we all know that, I think most everyone's, even in the public's well aware about the lake dredge, but my understanding is we need that lake. We all know the complications. I don't want to go through that, but just in terms of managing stormwater,
Yes, sir.
how critical is finishing the lake dredge from your view?
To me, absolutely, because as it stands, I mean, every day more and more pervious soil goes away, and the runoff is my guys notice a huge difference, like on Lake Park Boulevard, and that's where all that water's going to. So for me, it's huge because you can't capitalize fully on what you've dredged. You can pump further down, but you can only pump further down on half the lake. The other side's sitting dry. So for us, it's huge. I feel like because it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. So
And then I had one other thing, just about, this is my new comment. I guess I can still claim new. Your department, when I get a lot of people who will complain about stormwater and flooding in their yards and things like that. We all hear that, and we obviously try to address those. But what I've noticed is when your department interacts with people, they really respond positively. So whatever your group does, however that process works, I get a lot of feedback about the talent and the communication once they engage with you guys. So my only thought was, and I don't know how to do this, but however you can engage with the public more, I think would be a good thing.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, they're very irate because they feel like their property is threatened. But then when they actually talk on an engineering level to your group, I get a lot of positive feedback. So I just want to let you know that.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's a very stressful period for those folks that are in that situation. I think they want to be heard. So,
Especially next, so more so in the next few months as
Yes.
we're in the event season. So it's
Yes,
keep
sir.
doing what you guys are doing.
absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Okay. Next, we'll have an update on the minimum housing and abandoned structures process. Jeremy?
Mayor, Council, good afternoon. This is a follow-up to last workshop meeting where Town Council, we did an update on the abandoned structures in the boardwalk area, and you not only gave us the green light, you told us to go run with it, to go start the process to get these buildings into compliance. So the status right now, Gerald Johnson, the building inspector, has been leading the efforts and for these structures. And we have 2 inspections happening this week, and the rest should be next week. And the process for an abandoned structure, it's a legal one, and it can be time consuming because we have done our pre-inspections, we have notified the owners, and now we're setting up the inspections. So that's the process where we are now. We've already had 2 permits applied for demolition, and that's one on 9 Cape Fear Boulevard, and they've already started. With demo, they have started removing asbestos and interior demolition and cleaning that up. And then 308 Carolina Beach Avenue North, the Mermaid Manor, they've applied for their CAMA permits because it is oceanfront to remove that structure, and they plan on redeveloping that site. We've had, and Daryl has been very busy since the hurricanes. There was a large majority of the multifamily condo buildings that received water damage, and all of those have been repaired, and people have their homes back, except for 1800 Canal Drive at the North Pier Villas. This is the current state of it now. As you see the lower right-hand corner, it received severe damage. We issued them a demo permit to explore the damage and to remove the drywall and components to investigate, and we've been working with the property owner and their engineer to evaluate the structure to determine if it can be repaired or if it just needs to come down. So that is another one high on our radar. Just to go over the process of, we can be notified of an issue of minimum housing or abandoned structure. A petition is filed with the building inspector or the code enforcement officer. This can be police, it could be fire, it could be adjacent property owners, or it can be the inspector if he finds that the structure is indeed in violation. The inspector serves the complaint and starts to investigate. It's usually a 2-week period. And then once the inspections have happened, he schedules a hearing to review his findings with the property owner. The inspector then issues his order of findings and he makes a determination either it needs to be repaired or he has to remove the structure. Once the order is given, it's a specific time to comply. Depending on the scope of work, it's between 30 and 90 days. If the owner disagrees with the order, they can appeal, and it would go to the Board of Adjustment for the town of Carolina Beach. If the owner does not like the Board of Adjustment outcome, it can appeal their decision to Superior Court. And they would have 30 days from the BOA decision to do that. And this is where you come in. If we still don't have compliance, the owner fails to be consistent with the ordinance, then we would bring an ordinance before town council in order to repair or remove the structure, whatever would need to happen. And that would, you would then give them 90 days if you so choose to tell them that they needed to repair or remove the structure. And then the town would recoup its costs by filing a lien on the property. So whenever that is the minimum housing, which has to do with residential unit, an occupied unit. And if it's not occupied, then it could fall into more commercial structures, fall into abandoned structures. Those are the two that code enforcement deals with. For occupied commercial, it's a little bit different because that is on a routine schedule with the fire marshal office that they go in and they inspect these buildings. And if they see a broken handrail or a rotten joist or some deck boards missing, then they have the authority to call in the building inspector to come in and do a building inspection. But other than that, once the building inspector issues a final and a CO for a building, he is limited on when he can go into that building and start just regulating changes. So there is a process that would have to be followed. And the checklist that we do follow, just to go over it briefly, for minimum housing is the walls, floors, roofs, foundations, steps, stairs, landing, porches. They shall not be rotten, deteriorated, or damaged. It should have adequate facilities for fire exits. Interior shall be maintained and promoted for sanitation. The roof and the walls and the floor should be watertight. Your plumbing, your heating, electrical, ventilation, have to have proper ceiling heights. You have minimum square footage per area for occupant. You can't just fill a room full of people. You also have to have insects and rodents in control. Your rubbish and garbage disposal, and public areas shall be clean and have sanitary conditions. For abandoned structures, you can't have the floors, the walls, and the ceilings all have to be sound. You have to meet building code, fire code. You can't have a bunch of garbage in the yard. Conditions can't attract breeding places for rodents or insects. Area has to be safe and cannot be used for any transient or vagrants. So that's just a brief rundown of what we are looking for. It's not an appearance code. It's not aesthetics. It's just really the 3 S's. Is it secure? Is it safe? And is it sound? Is what we're looking at. It is a minimum code. And ask any questions that you have.
So basically, the process could take up to 9 months from start to finish. Is that correct?
If they draw it out and fail to comply, and they want to use all their available options for appeal, and the time it could get to council.
It could take up to 9 months if we had an ordinance in place. And you say right now we do not have an ordinance?
No, we do. This is the ordinance. We do have an ordinance in place, and we're actively enforcing the ordinance on those the boardwalk properties that we mentioned before.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We have a closed session. Correct? I will make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss attorney-client matter in accordance with NCGS 143318.11, A3 and 6. Attorney-client matter will include 20 CVS 1444 in regards to request by Carolina Beach Yacht Club LLC. All in favor? Ma'am? And might I add a personnel issue as well to the closed session? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.